All right, man, taking a look at this side-to-side med ball throw. Watch how you're loading. So initially, in your load, you're just losing torsion a little bit in this back knee. That knee's kind of starting to collapse in. Still same thing. We need to be sitting in more flexion of this hip, so getting lower. So if this is your hip level here, I would like to see your hip level more like down. Just a lower center of gravity. That's going to allow you to sit into more flexion, get more loaded into that back leg, and just, like I said, just be in a better lower center of gravity, better position to produce force. Okay, let's go forward a little bit. Let's get into foot strike. So what I do like that I'm seeing is now we're in our start of our 5th week. This was from week 4. This ankle is kicking through more. If we go back and look at the last video at the same point, you're getting slightly better. So that means that hip is pushing through. That's what we want to see. Just week by week, we want to see these improvements. So ideally, we would like to see, I would say here, oops, 1 sec. I'm trying to stop it right at where I want that hip to be all the way through. Okay. Ideally, this would be it. This is ankles kicked all the way through. Your hip is all the way open. Only thing is your shoulders are going with it. So ideally, if we could keep the trunk a little farther back, all right, and then the shoulders more delayed, all right, that would be ideal hip to shoulder separation. So you're getting there. It just needs to be faster. You just got to get out of that back hip quicker to where you are pushing force, through the ground. That was a terrible arrow. Pushing force through the ground, all right? And you're getting this hip to power open. So the same thing, like when you're sitting more in flexion and you're riding those hips, forward and down, that's what it's going to allow you to do. It's going to allow you to get this back leg into a more loaded position with a better force vector. This force vector is still pretty vertical. All right, so if you can ride those hips farther down the mound, all right, where you're lower and those hips are down here, all of this is going to be in a better position. This force vector is going to be in a better angle to produce force. It's like aiming a gun. All right, this energy is just going to go straight up into the air as you go to drive. All right, and ideally we want to get this energy pointing more towards the target, so that when you're driving off the mound and you're pushing force, that force is going to propel you give you linear acceleration down the mound. All right. So again, like I said, it's getting better, but we still need to be a lot better out of that back leg. All right, let's watch. Okay, you're at ball release here, so a little bit late on the front leg extension. This front leg is your strength, but still I would like to see more front leg extension, more forward trunk tilt, but a lot of that is predicated off that back leg. When you get better at loading and driving the back leg, it's going to increase your stride length, and this front leg is going to land farther out, and then when you extend, it's going to give you that better forward trunk tilt right into pitch release. So really, I think it's a pretty good job off the front leg. It just needs to be a lot better off of that back leg drive. Got to hold torsion better, ride the hips farther down the mound, get lower, and really power that hip through. It's getting better, but it's still just not there yet. So just keep working on driving that hip through, delaying those shoulders. All right, here's the step throw. So good job of holding torsion, but same thing we're seeing in the other one. So I like how your knee is more externally rotated. You're holding torsion in this back leg, but we still need to take these hips from this level, and we got to start bringing them down. Get those hips lower. Get a lower center of gravity. Sit into flexion. Sit into that back leg. Sit into the posterior chain. Get into more hip abduction. Just not a lot of hip abduction. If we draw a line down the center of your body, this would be your hip abduction over here. On this side of the line, it's just not a lot. So we got to get into more of that hip abduction. All right, and then here we see, well, two. This is really vertical force vector. Again, that's that hip abduction. That's riding the hips forward and down. That's getting more flexion in that back leg. That's going to get you to be able to get that linear force vector. Okay, so then and when we go into front foot strike here, all right, back hip is late. This ankle is not as kicked over as the side-to-side medicine ball throw. So you're just later on that back leg drive. Shoulders are in a good position up here, but we just got to get that hip through. Getting that hip through is going to be that ideal hip to shoulder separation. So if we're going here, there's not going to be any hip to shoulder separation. So when we go to get the hip to kick all the way through, I'd say somewhere around here, you can see shoulders are along with it. Now the hips are fully open, but like I said, the shoulders are gone. So if we can get those shoulders delayed and we can get to this position, we're going to be looking a lot better in terms of hip to shoulder separation, which is going to mean more velocity. So we just got to get better at loading into the back leg and then getting to this open, powered hip position, powering that back leg through, delaying the shoulders. All right, that's going to increase that stride length like we talked about, get your front leg in a better position. So then when we go to the front leg here, again, slightly late front leg extension, trunk's still a little too vertical. But if we get that front leg farther out, all right, once we go into extension, you're going to get better forward trunk tilt angles. So just got to keep getting better out of that back leg. You're doing better at loading into it, but we got to get even better. And then once we got to get quicker out of the drive, so you can power that hip to this position while the shoulders are delayed. Once you can power it to here and keep these shoulders back, then we're cooking with gas. All right, here's your front leg extension. Here you can really see what I mean by when you can land in this position to where your back leg is driving you and you're landing in this much flexion off the front leg. You can see how that force vector, this better force vector here, off the front leg is going to be better at pushing energy into the trunk. All right, so when we get to pitch release, let's get it right here. One step forward. Okay, oh, gosh dang it, come on. Dang, it's skipping just right over it. All right, stop. There it is. Okay. You can still see late front leg extension. It's still not fully extended in time, but look how much better this forward trunk tilt is. That's the forward trunk tilt that I want to see. All right. So when you're landing shorter and that front leg force vector is just too vertical, it's hard to get these forward trunk tilts. All right. That's great forward trunk tilt. We can still get faster off of the front leg extension. You get fully extended, it's just going to be late. There's that full extension, boom, but the ball way over here, the ball's gone. So just getting faster off that front leg, getting more dynamic. Really feel that rock when you rock back, all right? And then when you're coming to that front leg, just slam that front leg. Whoom. I love that that forward trunk tilt. That's awesome, man. Just getting faster off of the front leg extension. But the key, man, your key, if you need one thing to focus on, you have to get much better off the drive leg, in the shuffle throw, in your side-to-side med ball throw, and we're going to start getting back into the static position. So that's going to make it even harder. So we really got to get explosive out of that back leg. Make sure that you're keeping up with your plyometrics. Make sure you're keeping up with the mobility stuff. Make sure that you're keeping up with the, gosh, what was I going to say? The cleans. We just need to build more explosive power out of that back leg. It's just a little too late right now, but we're going in the right direction.